Hey everybody, Andy Timmons here. Welcome back to Melodic Muse for Guitar World. And we're going to continue talking about a subject near and dear to my heart, and that is string bending. And maybe talk about a couple of my influences first before getting into some playing. And I recently got to go hang out with a dear friend of mine who also happens to be a hero, and that's Mr. Steve Lukather. And he came through town with Toto and Journey. They were playing a double bill, sold out at the arena here in Dallas, which is great. Having a sold-out arena show with great guitar rock, it was very heartening. But had a wonderful hang with Luke that day. Went to see him that night. And again, he's literally, I've got more from him than almost any other player. Such a huge influence. And but I hadn't seen him live like in an arena, ever. So I'd seen him in some other places along the way. But, tremendous player. But I was really blown away, and I was moved so much. Every time he bent a note, it really just went straight inside me. And it was a recognition that I heard myself in his playing, because it's such a big part of how I approach the bends and how I find pitch. And he was so in the middle of that pitch that we talked about in the last lesson, finding the center of the pitch. And he's textbook for that. And I know that Larry Carlton was an influence on him. And he's another guy that I learned immense amounts from. That first Larry Carlton solo record with Room 335 and some of his great early tunes. That whole record is everything you need to know about bending 101 and beyond, honestly. So these two guys, big influences on me. Great to see Steve recently and just be so blown away. It brought me to tears. It really, truly did. And as I've talked about Jeff Beck before, seeing him and what he does with string bending, it's just mind-blowing. So let's continue the path here. Let's talk about some more techniques, and hopefully can improve all of our bending. Okay, so now we're going to dig into bending through a scale. We're going to start with C-sharp Dorian as it applies to the C-sharp minor blues we're going to get into here in a little bit. So let's hear the sound of that C-sharp Dorian all on the G string, because that's where we're going to be bending. So I'm going to start on the B, C-sharp, D-sharp, E, F-sharp, G-sharp. What do you want to call that? A-sharp, I suppose. B, C-sharp. So we want to get that sound in our head. That's another practice I love anyway, is practicing scales horizontally. Okay. Now we're going to do a series of bends that are going to go from one note and bend up to the next scale note. Okay. So if we're going to start on that same B on the 4th fret, I'm going to bend from that B to the C sharp. Again, trying to find just the center of that pitch. No vibrato. A lot of strength coming from the 2 fingers behind, thumb behind the neck. Now, to the note that I just achieved with the bend, I'm going to fret that note and then bend up to the next scale note. Okay, so we have, you could either re-articulate or just slide it. I do that a lot, where I'll start the sequence and not pick another note. I'll just do it all by slides. Now we've got, this next bend is a half step, because the next scale note is E from the D sharp. So we have, so that's kind of new what we're talking about. That's just a half step bend from D sharp to E. One of my favorite bends is that where you can find a good half step. And this is usually where it is. It's in that when you got a minor chord. The 3rd, if you bend from the 9. Now from that E, the next scale tone is a whole step. Bending from E to F sharp. Next one is F sharp to G sharp. G sharp to, we're going to call it A sharp. Always feels weird saying A sharp because it's inharmonic with B flat, but it's in this key it is A sharp. And then A sharp to B. If we want to complete the octave, B to C sharp. So as an exercise, the way I would combine this, the way I connect it is, see, that's a nice way to do a release. Again, no vibrato at the end. Or maybe a little reward at the end. All right, so what goes up can come down. So let's do the whole thing in reverse. Let's start at the octave where we started here on the G string, and we're going to go up to that math is good 16th fret on the B. So pay attention as you're going through this, the strength that it takes and the articulation that you're getting, not only from the bend, it's the release, and then sliding into that next note, setting yourself up to where the next bend occurs. I'm getting as much volume out of, then I'll re-articulate.